hello. Oh, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for trusting me with your beautiful and good and perfect feet in this video today. Our feet and our lower legs, our shins, our calves, our Achilles, our knees even, they do a lot for us every single day. And we don't always give them the love and the respect that they deserve. When we think about our feet carry us through this world every single time we stand up, every single time we walk, even when we're seated and our feet are on the earth. No matter what we're doing, they are involved. They happen to be made of the smallest bones in our body, as well as the largest congregation of bones in our body. So kind of like little birds, they're teeny tiny bones that all work in synchronicity, that all work as a team to allow us to walk and move, to even help us breathe throughout this life. So this video, we are going to take some time to show our feet, to show our calves, our shins, even our knees, a little bit of love so that they can continue to carry us forward as far as we'd like to go. We're going to start in a nice easy seat, and for you this may be crisscross applesauce or sukhasana on the floor like I am. You could also easily do this from a chair, whether it's a desk chair, whether it's a chair at your dining room table, even on your couch. This is all really, really accessible to start. And what we're going to do is a little bit of self-massage and a little bit of self-stretching technique with those feet. So if you feel like you want to go rinse them off, give them a wipe down, put some lotion on while you're at it, please, please, please pause the video. Feel free, you're more than welcome to. But we're going to start by bringing our right foot towards our hand. And I know I have a very nosy kitty cat who's wanting to block the video right where we need it to be today. But we're going to take that right foot. So think about that right foot, big and beautiful. Can you spread your toes and scrunch your toes? You don't have to pick your leg up like this. I'm just doing it for the visuals. But you can if you want to, because it feels really good in my hamstring. But just take a moment to spread and scrunch those toes. Now, because we are talking so much about feet, showing so much of my feet, I'm going to trust that you are not, sending this video to anywhere nefarious. And if you are, give me a cut, homie, because girl could use it. Take two more big spreads and scrunches with those toes. And then we're going to point and flex. But what I want you to do is I want you to point through the ball of your foot, kind of like a Barbie heel. So point through the ball of your foot, flex your toes backwards, and then reverse. Pull your toenail as close to your kneecap as you can. Good. Point and flex. So our feet, our toes, stay engaged and flexed backwards. What we're moving is from the ankle, from the arch, from your heel, your calcaneus, and the ball of your foot. We're going to take just a couple more like that. Again, your leg can be long on the earth. Your leg can be lifted. You could even do this with your leg crossed over or crossed over your knee if you're seated in a chair. We're going to take 3 more of these. Good, good, good. Now we're going to come into something that might feel a little funky. My teacher taught it to me as the yogi handshake. So we're going to use our hands as our very own built-in toe spreader. So you're going to take your fingers between each of your toes until you're holding hands with your foot like this. Now give that foot a big old squeeze. Squeeze your hands as tightly as you can and start to take the world's smallest rotation, just moving the heel of your hand around the ball of your foot without releasing your grip. We're just rotating that wrist a little bit, and in doing so, we're facilitating a little bit of mobility in the tops of our feet. Good. And then switch directions. Take that rotation the other way. Remember to breathe the whole time. Fix your grip if you need to. Scratch your pet if they're desperate for a little bit of attention, like mine is. Sweet Dakota. She's an excellent yogi cat. She finds her way into all of my videos, and all of my classes, and all of my private lessons. The yoga mat is her very favorite spot. Good, good, good. Now you're going to take that yogi handshake you've got going. And then with this grip, we're just going to spread our fingers as wide as we can, but keep your fingers between your toes, and then grip again. So kind of like we did when we were spreading and scrunching just our toes, we're doing that same thing, but now we're doing it with the help of that hand. So maybe we're getting a deeper spread right to left. Good, good, good. We'll take just a couple more of these. Of course, once you know this movement, you can stay, you can linger for as long as you like. Maybe taking a moment while you're watching Netflix in the evening, just sinking into this yogi handshake. One more time, just like that. Good, and then we're gonna take a big rotation around the ankle. So really, really working through that ankle, but the whole time holding on to your toes, holding on to that webbing, and giving a little bit of pressure and a little bit of grip around the ball of your foot. Take a couple more on this side or this direction. And then when you feel good, find the other way. And you probably can't hear it in the camera, but my ankle is definitely sounding like a Rice Krispie treat. A little snap, crackle, pop happening in that ankle joint. And that's normal, that's natural. That's just the sound of the fascia or the sound of the tendons or ligaments snapping over the bone. Not snapping, rolling over the bone. Snapping is a scary word. Rolling over the bone and landing on the other side, kind of like how you snap your fingers. The sound of that middle finger rolling past your thumb and landing on the other side makes that snap. That's just what your ligaments and your tendons are doing over the joint or over the bone. Just means we're a little tight, maybe a little dehydrated. Could all probably stand to drink some coconut water. Good, good, good. Now we're going to try to let our foot get really loose and just give that foot a real good shake. So if this were a business deal or an interview, your hand would be the person with all the power. Your foot would be a little limp. Not a great handshake. Good, good, good. We'll give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Let it go. Feel your hand out. Maybe shake your hand, wiggle your fingers, give them a little love. And then spread and scrunch your toes just a couple more times. You can stretch 2 legs long in front of you on the floor, or even if you're in a chair. Flex those feet backwards. Point your toes forward. And notice a little bit just what it feels like between right foot and left foot. That could be energetically, that could be physically. We're going to take a big breath in, reach for the ceiling, and then exhale, forward fold, long over your lap. Think about dragging your collarbones forward just a little bit, and then let your head and neck get heavy. Again, notice what might be different between your right and left side. Notice what might be similar, where we feel a little freedom, where we feel a little congestion. And then roll on up to a seat, smooth and easy, and we're going to take that other side. So left leg can extend forward. Maybe we're holding it, maybe we're not, and we're just going to spread and scrunch those toes. Good, good, good. So my toes too even have that little pop as I scrunch them. Because like I said, our feet do a lot of work. And they're a little bit undervalued, unfortunately. They're probably our lowest paid employee. We'll take a few more of these. Really warming up, working out all of that space in those joints. metatarsals, and our phalanges. Give it 3 more. And then we're going to take that Barbie heel point. So push through the ball of your foot and drag it back. Ball of your foot and drag it back. Good. Really think about exaggerating. So we're getting lots of strength, lots of effort in our ankle, in our Achilles, in the arches of our feet, up in between our toes, in that little space of webbing, and even across the tops of our feet and in our shins. We're going to get 4 more. And we're going to come in for that yogi handshake. We love so much. The last one. Good, good, good. So now our opposite hand is going to become that personal toe spreader. We're so lucky to have it with us all the time. Take that big squeeze. Really, really create some compression. White knuckling it almost like you were driving through city traffic. Now take that baby rotation, operating from your wrist, not from your ankle, as best as possible. So we're feeling movement in that upper part of our foot, closest to the base of our toes, closest around the ball of our foot. And you might feel those teeny tiny bird bones that are wide at your toes and come in narrow at the top of your ankle. And then switch directions. Good, good, good. Notice as we do this, you might find that you're clenching your jaw, holding your breath, or furrowing your eyebrows, or even tight in your tongue as your tongue stuck to the roof of your mouth. And if so, can you let it drop down and back? Can you swallow a couple times? We're going to take that spread and scrunch with our fingers, spreading as wide as we can, and then coming back in really tight. Spreading as wide as we can, and then coming back in really tight. Good, good, good. Feel that spaciousness. We don't often think of having wide feet as a compliment or as a positive, especially as women. But by design, all of our feet should probably be a little wider if we're going back to what would best serve us from an ancestral or a genetic perspective. Having more surface area on the earth is always going to improve our balance. It's going to help our knees stay safe, improve our gait when we're walking and running. So wide feet is a bonus in this situation. Good. We're going to take that foot. We're going to grab hold of it a little tighter into that handshake, and then make that rotation as big as you can. Really moving from the ankle joint this time, coming all the way around the room. If you are seated on the floor and you've come into this seated pigeon that I've come into, just to have a better reach on this foot, then you're getting a bonus glute stretch, a bonus rotation in that knee. So everybody's getting some love here, and that's the beauty of our body, is that nothing works individually. Everything is in tandem with other muscles, other joint systems, our nervous system, our fascial system, all connected. When you're ready, switch directions. Take that rotation the other way. You might be surprised by how a movement like this can really create fatigue in your joint, in your muscles. It doesn't seem like we're doing a lot, but when we do it with intention, when we do it with reverence, we really do get a lot of effort out of it, a lot of work. You can start to feel how those muscles are working. You're going to take 2 more this way. Good. And then give it a good shake. Let your foot get really, really loose, like your foot had fallen asleep. And we were using our hands to try to wake it up, to shake out those jitters. Think about letting things be a little floppy. Good, good, good. Give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. One last squeeze for good measure. And then let that hand slide off of your foot. Stretch your legs long. Think about circling out your ankles, spreading and scrunching those toes, maybe jiggling your knees just a little bit. And again, we'll inhale tall and exhale forward fold and just take stock of how and what and where we feel. Think about pressing your tailbone into whatever surface it's touching, whether it's the floor or the chair. Crawling your ears and your collarbone forward and then softening down. And from here we'll roll back up to a seat. Stacking up nice and tall. We are going to come down to hands and knees. So if you're in a chair, find a space on the floor where you've got some room for a tabletop. And we are going to grab a myofascial tool. So for me, I'm just using a tennis ball. These are really accessible, really cheap. If you've got pets, you've probably got one around the house anyway. Maybe we don't want to spend too much time touching it. It might be a little slobbery, so maybe it's time to invest in a new one. You can also get myofascial or massage balls. They sell them everywhere. I really like Naughty Body brand, Knotty, or Yoga Tune-Up balls. They're really lovely. You can also, if you're just a glutton for punishment, use a lacrosse ball. But tennis balls are nice. They've got a good give. They're maybe a little softer than some other options, so it's a great choice for beginners. And they're just easy to come by. So we're going to spend some work on our shins. So when we come into hands and knees, we're going to think about our shin bone. We've got our bone, our surface area of our bone, our tibia, on the internal side of your foot in line with your big toe. And then there's muscle. There's a big old big old muscle on that external side lined up with your pinky toe. Our aim is to keep that ball, whatever it is for you, on the muscle, not on the bone. This isn't super intuitive. If your ball goes rolling away, it's completely understandable. Just make sure pups aren't after it when you do. So from hands and knees, we're going to take this ball underneath that big muscle side of our shin, so on the external side. And all we're going to do is roll our shin forward and back, curling our knee in, pressing our leg long. You might want to think about setting yourself up to be able to move the full length of your shin from your ankle to your knee. And again, you'll probably have to readjust a couple times, and that's okay. If this doesn't feel good on your wrist, you can come down to your shoulders. Just know that that does mean our shoulders and our belly are working harder. So it is a sneaky secret core tip. But our shoulders can tend to take a little more load than our wrists can anyway, because it's a bigger joint structure. Now, as you're taking those long rolls, you might find that there's one spot on your shin that needs a little extra love and attention. And if there is, find stillness with the block and just put a little extra weight into that knee, into that leg, and then release. Put a little extra weight, and then release. So kind of like we were just pushing a little button, and then letting it go. What that is doing is it is compressing and then rehydrating your fascia in that spot. So take it twice more if you like it, or find that roll forward and back. Good. We're going to take about 30 more seconds here. Maybe there's another spot that needs a little pressure and release. Maybe we're loving that long roll. Especially as a runner. I know the shin and calf muscles need a lot of love. They are quite literally pounding the pavement with every step you take. And you might take this little movement that I'm taking, which is an inchworm, with a little pressure, and then inching it back with a little pressure at this stop. And then And then when you feel good, release this side. From here, we're going to take a little down dog interlude, tucking our toes, sending our hips up and back. Again, notice what you feel like on right and left side. And then take a moment, look at your feet in this down dog. Specifically notice your inner ankle and your inner arch. Has your arch collapsed to the mat like mine is wont to do? And if so, can you press into your pinky toe? Can we really, really level out the creases of our ankles with the creases of the bases of our toes? So then there's a little space. We can actually see the space under the arch. Now, your knees can be soft or they can be long. It doesn't really matter. We're just thinking about those feet. Spreading your toes wide, pressing into the pinky toe edge, so inner ankle isn't drooping or dropping. Notice how that feels in your calves. For one more big breath in. And then exhale, come on back to hands and knees or elbows and knees. Take that block onto your other side. I'm going to spin just so you can see. You absolutely don't have to. Ball's going to come under the meat of our shin. And we're going to start with that long line. We're using this long roll as a kind of litmus test to notice what and where we need maybe more pressure, more compression. So our fascial system runs through our body kind of like a spider web. It's a connective tissue that connects every single thing inside us. Our muscles, our bones, our organs. It runs within and alongside our nervous system, and that fascial system can actually communicate as well, just like our nervous system can communicate throughout our body. So that fascial system can send impulses from muscle to bone to organ to brain. If you have ever cooked raw chicken, you know that little white film, that white kind of stretchy skin that's across the chicken breast, that is the chicken's fascia. And we have superficial and deep lines. It's all around us and within us. Now you have that opportunity, if there's a spot, whoo, buddy, along the line that needs a little extra love, give it some weight, back away. Give it some weight, back away, like we're just dipping our toes in the water. We're not ready to jump all the way in. Maybe we take 30 seconds just in one spot. Maybe we like that little inchworm, rolling up an inch, pressure, up an inch, pressure, back an inch, pressure, back an inch, pressure. Like little ants marching one by one. You may find that each leg is a little different. One might be more sensitive, closer to your ankle and your foot. One might be more sensitive, closer to your knee. One leg may be more sensitive altogether. Good, good, good. We're going to take about one more minute on this shin. This leg is considerably more sensitive for me. Remember to breathe. And then when you start to feel complete on this side, again, you are more than welcome to linger, pause me, and keep going. But when you're ready, we'll release that ball. We'll spread our fingers wide. Tuck your toes, come up and back to down dog. Again, take a look at those ankles. Can you adjust your ankles so arches are lifted, toes are spread wide? And then we're going to take our dog on a little walk. Push one heel down, and then the other. Think about letting your tailbone drag up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling. And finding a long line from your hips to your wrists. We're going to do the opposite thing with our hands. So if you want, look forward at your palms, spread your fingers wide. Now notice if you've got that little gap of space under your first and second knuckle, and try to remove it. Push that first and second knuckle down hard. So we make a full handprint on our mat. Take one more breath right here. And then we're going to walk our palms backwards to our toes. Land in a fold. Let yourself get really heavy here. Head drops low. Maybe you find opposite elbow. You can kind of sway. Maybe you take your hands to the back of your legs or the fronts of your legs and offer a little compression. Just up and down, little squeezes. Take one more breath, whatever you found. And then bend your knees deeply. Let two hands touch the mat. Tuck your tail and roll up to standing, stacking your spine. Now once we've come to standing, we're going to pick up one leg, give it a little shake like a puppy. Pick up your other leg, give it a little shake like a puppy. Maybe shake out those hands. We're going to find that tennis ball again. Similar to the release we did on our shin bones, we're going to take that under our feet. So first, I want you to spread your toes wide across the ball. Imagine you were trying to pick that ball up with your monkey toes. If you can do it, bonus points, man, and you should be selling this video on the internet. If not, think about the center three toes moving across the top of the ball, your pinky toe trying to touch, and your big toe trying to touch on either side of that ball. Just notice what that feels like. Find your breath. Keep your weight even in right and left foot as best you can. Take one round of breath just like this. Then we're going to bring that ball to the ball of our foot. So to those joints, our knuckles, under the three center toes. Now see if you can put a little more weight into that one foot and then release. Just like we did with that shin bone. A little bit of weight and then release. Good, good, good. A couple more times. So our fascia, that spider web that runs through our body, is hollow tubes that are filled with fluid, like a jelly-like hydration. And whenever we do this compression and release, we're rehydrating. It's kind of like if you took a dry sponge and you just dropped it in the water, it would kind of float and it would take a long time for that water to soak up. But if you took that dry sponge and you balled it up tight, 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 and then you submerged it in water and then let it go, as it spread apart, it would soak up all of that water and fully hydrate really quickly. That's what we're doing right here. Now take your weight even again. You might even step your opposite foot back for balance, and we're going to kind of rock our toes right and left across the ball of that foot. So it's a very thoroughly modern Millie movement. Feel free to give yourself in. Feel free to hum a little tune. But we're rolling across the ball of that foot. Good, good, good. Feel the length, feel the pressure, that little bit of massage. And then, when you feel all right here, we're going to come to the very center point of our foot, right in the middle of your arch, middle front to back and middle right to left. So center of your foot. And then same thing, put a little extra weight and then release. A little extra weight and then release. This might be the most tender spot that we touch today, because while our fascial system is like a spider web, it also has seams, kind of like a rag doll. Those seams are just stronger, thicker fibers or lines of our system. Those seams tend to converge mostly at this spot on the bottom of our foot. So we've got one that runs up inner leg to your groin, one that runs up outer leg into your armpit. You've got one that runs up your front body from that seam up and over your toes, all the way up to your jaw. And there's one that runs up your back body from that seam over your heels, all the way up and over your head and connects at your eyebrows. So those 4 points converge right there. If any one of them is tender or tight, you'll feel it, right? Take one more compression, and then we're going to take that roll in a circle through the arch of our foot. Now you can put as much or as little weight as you want to here. But we're thinking of a big, smooth circle all the way around the center of our foot. So not necessarily in the ball or the heel, though of course you can if that feels good for you and it's something you want to lean into. And then switch directions. Good, good, good. This is a big practice in balance for that opposite leg also. So we're releasing and we're strengthening, always in duality. You can keep these rotations if they feel good, or again, if you've found a spot that's talking to you, a spot that maybe needs a little more attention, lean into it. Maybe it's compression and releasing, maybe it's a little micro movement. There's no right or wrong answer here, and there's not really a way that you can hurt yourself. So just take what you need. If it seems like a good idea intuitively, try it. If it stops seeming like a good idea, intuitively stop. Good, good, good. About another 20 seconds here. Beautiful. Now we're going to find that ball under the heel of our foot, as though we were wearing some really like avant-garde high heels with a tennis ball instead. And then same thing, a little bit of weight, let it go. A little bit of weight, let it go. This might be maybe the least tender spot. Might not feel like you're doing a whole heck of a lot in that heel. Unless, of course, you've got something like plantar fasciitis, or even that shortened Achilles tendon. Might make this feel a little more intense. Couple more rounds. So the nice thing about these tennis balls is that they've got a lot of give. So you can really see how exaggerated it is when I push and pull on my weight. If you're using like a massage ball or definitely a lacrosse ball, there will not be this give. And that's okay. Don't worry about that. As long as you're feeling something, you're doing something. Good. 2 more like this. And then we're going to put a little more weight in that opposite leg, and we're going to roll across right and left on that heel. It's an action kind of like you were stamping on a cigarette. You could add those fairly modern Millie arms there too if you want. It always makes me think of Sandy from Grease whenever she flicks that cigarette in the final number. Rizzo, I feel like, does it a lot too. Take a few more moments. Maybe you continue that stamp, or maybe you take a rotation just at your heel bone. Give it 3, 2, man, I can't keep this ball under me. 1, good, let that go, shake out that foot, shake out that leg, let it get really jello-y, and then set it down, 2 feet under 2 hips, take a big breath in, sweep it tall. Exhale, forward fold. Again, notice what's happening right and left foot, and then notice what's happening right and left leg, because like I said, nothing in our body works solo. So because we've given so much love to that foot, you might feel a beautiful chain reaction all the way up your calf, your hamstring, maybe even into your glutes and your low back. 1 more breath here, and then we'll roll up to standing, smooth and easy. We'll take that on the other side. So we're starting by trying to pick up that ball with our toes. So your center 3 toes are on the ball. Your pinky toe and your big toe are hanging off of the side, as though we could touch each of those phalanges to the mat. I think you could pick this toe up, pick this ball up with your monkey toes. Feel that big, big stretch across the webbing of your feet. one more breath. And then we'll move our weight into the ball of our foot, under the joints where those toes meet the feet, your knuckles. And we'll compress and release. Compress and release. Few more times. Notice how this side feels compared to the other. And if it's the same, that's all right too. Good for you for being balanced. Proud of you. We'll take about 4 more. Last 2. Last 1. Good. Now take that stamp, that right and left on your foot, rolling across the ball of your foot from big toe to pinky toe. Add in your little tap hands. And this can have as much or as little weight into that foot, into that ball as you like. Good, good, good. I feel a little more sensation when I get to the pinky toe side and that pinky toe lifts up. But depending on your gait, depending on the size and lift of your arch, depending on how you use your feet throughout the day, you may feel it under your big toe or in the middle. We'll take about 2 more breaths. And then we'll bring that ball right to the center of our foot. So right to that center seam as though you were a rag doll. All of those threads formed a little knot at the sole of your foot. That's where we want this ball. And it will probably be the most tender space, which is why we compress and release too. We're able to take a little more pressure. We know we're not going to be there for very long. Good, good, good. Keep this knee soft just a little bit. And we'll take about 5 more. Last 3. Really letting your toes drape over the ball for this last one. And then weight in your opposite leg. Take that circle, that rotation around. Again, just like we talked about while we're giving this foot lots of love, lots of massage, lots of release. This leg is practicing its strength, its balance, its stability. So kind of like we did in down dog, can you press into your pinky toe mound of your standing foot? Let your arch lift a little bit off the floor. So we're taking away that flat-footedness. I know I said a wide base is better for our balance, but a lifted arch is also better for our balance. Our body has multiple domes throughout it. If we think about domes in architecture, we know they're the most structurally sound, because every single joint, every single piece of that dome works in conjunction with the one next to it. And the same is true of our body. So we have the domes of the arches of our feet. We have the domes of our pelvic floor. We have the dome of the roof of our mouth. And the dome of our skull. All there for structural support, as well as resonance and some other things. Good. Switch directions with that rotation if you haven't yet. And then you know you've got that option if there's a spot that feels like it needs a little more attention. There's a squeaky wheel that could use some oil. Give it some love. Woo! It's definitely a hurt so good situation over here for me. I don't know about you. Ooh. Sometimes when that fascial system gets dehydrated or knotted up. It feels and looks a little bit like, you know, when saran wrap or cling wrap sticks to itself and it gets those kind of veins and it's really hard to pull away from itself. That is what a knotted or a clustered or a tight spot in our fascial system looks like. And the way that we can release those knots, release those adhesions, is through massage, through stretching, through shaking, and through hydration. So those are the things that our fascial system loves more than anything else in the world: massage, stretching, shaking, hydration. Take about 3 more breaths right here. And then we're going to bring that ball to the heel of our foot. We're going to put on those funny avant-garde high heels and then find some compression and let it go. Good. You can add a little hip hop if you're feeling sassy. Take about 4 more of these. Good, good, good. Now add some weight into your standing leg and stamp out that cigarette. Really roll that ball across your heel, right and left. I don't know why it's so hard for me to hold on to this one. Try to keep your shoulders over your hips. Try to keep that belly button active. Try to pick up the arch on your standing foot. Maybe even pick up the kneecap on your standing foot. The nice thing about the massage balls or the myofascial balls is they're made from rubber versus cloth, like the tennis ball. So they might not roll away from you quite as much because the rubber on the block and the rubber on your mat will create a better grip, a little more friction to hold on to. Good. Take about 15 more seconds. And then we'll release this side. Give that leg a good shake. Let everything jiggle, everything loosen from your pockets to your toenails. 5, 4, 3, 2. Set it down. 2 feet under 2 hips. Feel into your legs. Feel into your feet. Big breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Again, notice right and left foot, notice right and left leg. Notice anywhere that feels a little more spacious, anywhere that still feels a little congested. This is all just data, just feedback. You could take this information from this fold and you could revisit anything we've already done, whether it's feet, shins, or we're about to do calves. And roll on up to standing, nice and easy. Good, good. We're going to come down to a seat. One last little bit. This one we do want to be on the floor for because we want the weight of our legs into the earth. You can also foam roll out your calves, but this is one way to do it since we've already got the ball out. We're going to take that ball underneath our calf. Our opposite foot's going to bend, and kind of like you were doing a reverse plank, you're just going to roll the length of that calf. Good, good. I don't love to do this one for a long time, mostly because it makes my wrist hurt. But you could also sit down and rock and roll that ball right to left, tick-tocking your toes. And you can move the ball manually further up or further down, kind of like we did with our shin. Maybe you take a couple rounds right and left, move it down or up, Take a couple downs right and left. This is another spot that can be really sensitive, and the ropiness of your calves, of those muscles, is going to be really apparent, for me anyway. It almost feels like you're going over a row of ropes, for lack of a better term. You can kind of feel the bumps and the dips. Good. You can also do that compress and release by taking your other ankle on top. It's really intense. Adding some weight, releasing some weight. Adding some weight, releasing some weight. Just back and forth, just like that. Whoa, buddy. It's a lot. Good, good, good. When you feel complete here, we're just going to swap. Take that tennis ball on the other side, bend your opposite leg, pick up your glutes, and take a little roll forward and back. The good thing about this is that that foot that's bent, that foot that's navigating us, is still getting some intention and some energy as we roll forward and back. We're lengthening that calf muscle. We're rolling through our arches and our toes. So we're still getting some love on this side too. Good, and then maybe tick-tock those toes, right and left, roll over that ropiness. And again, there's not really anything you can do wrong here. So if rotation feels good, if right and left, with your toes up feels good, if tick-tocking your toes like a metronome feels good, if adding that weight, woo, letting it go, adding that weight, letting it go, maybe try it for 2 breaths. If you relax your ankles, it's even more intense. Good, good, good. Take what you need here in a way that feels good for you. For about another 20 seconds. Maybe it's just your ankle rotating again, and you'll notice, you'll be able to see, again, how our whole leg is connected, how our whole body is connected through the movement in your shins, in your knees, in your hips. And give it about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Let that side go. We're going to thunder out our knees. We're going to add a little bit of shake. So really, really make some noise here. Create contact, create reverb. Bonus points if your thighs jiggle. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, good. Take a moment, sit however you're comfy. We'll finish out this practice together. I know it wasn't quite yoga asana or really yoga asana at all, except for those couple down dogs. But hopefully your feet are feeling good, your legs are feeling good. We've got a little more awareness and understanding of how beautiful those parts of our body are, how much care they take of us throughout the day. We'll wrap up this practice with 2 big breaths together. Our first inhale is going to sweep fingertips high to the sky. Exhale, bring thumbs to your heart. Bow your chin into your chest. Take a big breath in through your nose. Let it all go on a sigh. Offer a little internal thank you to your toes, to the soles of your feet, to your ankles, your shins, your calves, your knees, for all of the support and strength and forward motion they offer us in this life. As you do so, please know that I'm also sending you and your feet eternal gratitude and thanks for practicing with me today. Divine light in me loves and honors the divine light in you. Namaste. I can't wait to hear what you think of this practice. Please, please, please let me know. You can shoot me an email, a message, or comment right underneath the video. Let me know your thoughts. what you're looking forward to in videos to come. Namaste.